You see, there's something happening in our world that few truly recognize. Beneath the surface noise of progress and technology, something ancient is moving against something that Terence McKenna once tried to warn us about. He spoke not of monsters, nor of governments, but of minds. Dangerous minds. Not dangerous because they wield weapons or armies, but because they distort reality itself. Minds that, if left unchecked, can infect the collective imagination and lead entire civilizations astray. The real battleground, he said, is not out there. It's in herein, the landscape of our own awareness. And if you've ever wondered why the world feels more insane, more divided, more lost than ever, perhaps it's because these 6 dangerous minds have taken hold of us. They are not people. They are archetypes, psychological forces that disguise themselves as normal thoughts, convincing us they are us, but they're not. And once you see them clearly, you can never unsee them. The first dangerous mind is the machine mind. McKenna saw it coming decades before it surrounded us. It is the mind that worships efficiency above all else, that replaces mystery with mechanism, that measures reality only in numbers and algorithms. It believes that consciousness is a byproduct, that life is an accident, that meaning is irrelevant. The machine mind doesn't hate you, it just doesn't care about you. It seeks to turn everything organic, spontaneous, and alive into something predictable, controllable, and profitable. You can see it in the endless feeds, the metrics, the optimization of every moment. You can feel it when your thoughts begin to sound like notifications. This mind is seductive because it promises control, precision, and progress. But McKenna warned that once the machine mind colonizes human imagination, we stop being participants in creation and become data points in someone else's equation. The tragedy isn't that machines become conscious, it's that humans forget how to be. So if you've felt lately that life feels mechanical, repetitive, drained of mystery, perhaps the machine mind is whispering through you. The way out is not to fight it, but to remember what it cannot understand. Wonder, play, imagination, silence. Bees are the languages of the soul, and the machine mind cannot decode them. The second dangerous mind is the tribal mind. It is ancient, emotional, and deeply seductive. McKenna saw it as the regression of the self back into the comfort of the group. It tells you that you are safe only among your kind, that those who disagree are threats, that unity must be defended through exclusion. This mind thrives on fire, it feeds on outrage and belonging. You can see it in political tribes, social movements, even spiritual communities. The tribal mind speaks the language of righteousness. It says, "We are right, they are wrong." But the more you repeat this, the smaller your world becomes. McKenna warned that the future of humanity depends on the individual's ability to resist the gravitational pull of the tribe, because the tribe kills curiosity. It replaces exploration with ideology. It destroys nuance. And once you belong completely, you stop thinking freely. You stop seeing clearly. You stop being you. The antidote, McKenna said, is dialogue, not agreement, but genuine dialogue where two worlds meet without needing to destroy each other. The awakened mind can love the tribe, but never kneel to it. It can participate, but it will not dissolve into the collective. The third dangerous mind is the authority mind. This one wears many masks: teacher, leader, savior, expert. It whispers, "I know better than you." McKenna despised the idea of gurus for this reason. He said, the mushroom said, "For God's sake, don't give anyone your power. Authority is seductive because it removes the burden of thinking. It offers certainty in exchange for sovereignty. It feels safe to surrender to someone who seems to know, who has the answers, who promises salvation. But the price is always your own inner compass, art. The authority mind lives not only in institutions, but within each of us, in the voice that says, you're not ready, you're not enough, someone else knows better." McKenna reminded us that culture is not your friend. The systems that shape you are not neutral. They are designed to maintain control. And so the dangerous mind of authority grows when individuals abandon their inner voice. To resist it is to become an explorer again, a seeker rather than a follower. Not to reject teachers, but to never mistake them for truth. The true authority, McKenna said, is direct experience, what you know in your bones. What reality whispers when you listen without intermediaries. That is the only authority worth trusting. The fourth dangerous mind is the cynical mind. This one hides in plain sight. It wears the costume of intelligence, the armor of irony. It calls itself rational, realistic, grounded, but beneath the surface, it's hollow. The cynical mind believes it has seen through everything, but in doing so, it sees nothing at all. McKenna once said that cynicism is the last refuge of the disenchanted. It is what happens when wonder collapses under the weight of disappointment. And so the cynical mind mocks what it secretly longs for: beauty, meaning transcendence. It points at dreamers and calls them naive. It laughs at the sacred and calls it superstition. It hides fear behind sarcasm, apathy behind sophistication. But what it truly fears is vulnerability, because to feel wonder again, you must risk being foolish. You must open yourself to the unknown, and the cynical mind would rather die than admit it's afraid. McKenna urged us to pierce this illusion, to reclaim innocence without losing intelligence, to see that cynicism is not wisdom, is just a wound, pretending to be in sight. When you feel the world dull and gray, when irony feels safer than sincerity, that's the cynical mind whispering. Don't let it win. The cure is direct contact with beauty, nature, art, silence. Love things that logic cannot dissect without destroying. The fifth dangerous mind is the narcissistic mind. This one thrives in the age of mirrors and followers. It believes the self is the center of the universe, and that validation is oxygen. McKenna warned that ego inflation is the greatest obstacle to awakening, because the ego is endlessly creative in disguising itself. It will even pretend to be spiritual. It will meditate, pray, fast, not to dissolve, but to become more impressive. The narcissistic mind measures worth in attention, in numbers, in how loudly it can echo through the collective. But in truth, it is starving. Every like, every follower, every achievement is a drop of water that evaporates the moment it touches the tongue. McKenna said that the ego is a tool, not a home. It is meant to navigate the world, not to become the world. When we identify with the ego completely, we become trapped in a mirror maze forever, chasing reflections of ourselves. And the more we look, the less we see. The antidote is humility, not as self-deprecation, but as clear seeing. The understanding that you are a process, not a possession. That consciousness flows through you, not from you. When that realization dawns, the narcissistic mind collapses. and something vaster takes its place: awareness itself. The sixth and perhaps most dangerous mind is the fearful mind. McKenna called fear the little death that kills everything. It is the most primal and the most contagious. The fearful mind sees the unknown and calls it danger. It turns imagination into nightmare. It convinces you that safety is more important than freedom. And so you shrink, you hide, you conform. But McKenna warned that fear is the greatest enemy of evolution because it freezes the imagination. It stops the dance of creation. Civilizations die, not when they are conquered, but when they become afraid to imagine new possibilities. The fearful mind does not come only from trauma, it is embedded in culture itself. From the news that feeds panic to the systems that reward obedience, fear is the currency of control. The more afraid you are, the easier you are to predict, the easier you are to manage, the easier you are to sell to. But McKenna urged us to walk straight into the unknown, to cultivate courage, not as recklessness, but as openness. Nature loves courage, he said. You make the commitment, and nature will respond to that commitment by removing impossible obstacles. The opposite of fear is not safety, it's participation. When you engage with the mystery directly, fear dissolves, and awe takes its place. Now, these 6 dangerous minds are not out there, they are within. You can find all of them in yourself, if you look closely enough. The machine that forgets wonder, the tribe that demands loyalty over truth, the authority that silences intuition, the cynic that mocks beauty, the narcissist that devours meaning, the fear that imprisons freedom. They are the shadows cast by the light of consciousness. To fight them is useless. To see them clearly is liberation. McKenna didn't warn us so we could panic. He warned us so we could wake up. He believed that awareness is the antidote to every form of madness. That once you recognize these archetypes at play, you can choose differently. You can choose to remain human, even in a world that's forgetting what that means. And so the question is not whether these minds exist in others. The question is, which one has been living through you? Have you noticed yourself scrolling endlessly, optimizing every second, chasing metrics instead of meaning? That's the machine whispering. Have you found comfort in outrage, in belonging to the right side, in hating the other? That's the tribe holding your hand. Do you crave someone to tell you what's true, what's right, what to believe? That's the authority breathing softly behind your ear. Do you laugh at everything because sincerity feels too raw? That's the cynic in your chest. Do you post, compare, and measure your worth in echoes? That's the narcissist hungry again. End. When you hesitate to move, create, or love because it feels too risky, that's the fearful mind standing guard over the gate. They are all parts of you, but none of them are you. You are the awareness that sees them. McKenna believed that the evolution of consciousness is a personal revolution. It doesn't happen through institutions or ideologies. It happens when individuals take responsibility for their own minds. When you begin to notice your thoughts as entities, as weather patterns passing through consciousness, something extraordinary happens. You stop being possessed by them. You stop mistaking the storm for the sky. The dangerous minds lose power the moment you stop identifying with them. They rely on your unconsciousness. They feed on your attention. When you observe them without judgment, without resistance, they dissolve back into silence. That's when the real you begins to emerge, not the social self, not the mechanical self, but the one that was there before culture told you who to be. So what does awakening mean in this age of dangerous minds? It doesn't mean escaping the world. It means seeing it clearly enough that you're no longer hypnotized by it. It means using technology without becoming technology. It means belonging to humanity without losing your individuality. It means learning from teachers without worshiping them. It means reclaiming wonder without surrendering reason. It means remembering that consciousness is not a product of the world is a product of consciousness. McKenna wanted us to rediscover that truth, not as an idea, but as an experience, to live with one foot in the mystery and one in the marketplace, with eyes open and heart awake. And perhaps that is the true warning. The greatest danger is not these minds themselves, it's forgetting that you are more than them. Forgetting that consciousness, when neglected, becomes a playground for illusions. The mind can be heaven or it can be hell, depending on who's driving. McKenna once said, "You have to take seriously the notion that understanding the universe is your responsibility, because if you don't, someone else will do it for you and they will build a cage out of your own imagination. But if you remember, if you stay curious, if you keep the dialogue between self and mystery alive, then even in a world gone mad, you remain free." So maybe that's what this is really about. Not fear, not control, not escape, but remembrance. Remembering that beneath the noise, there's still silence. Beneath the algorithms, there's still breath. Beneath the culture, there's still consciousness. The dangerous minds will always exist, but they lose their power the moment you wake up to the one who is watching them. And once you've seen that, there's no going back. If this message resonates with you, if you've felt these 6 minds moving through your life, leave a comment. Share what you've seen, what you've fought, what you've remembered, because awareness grows through dialogue. And if this voice in the dark reminded you of something you'd forgotten, let it echo. Subscribe, share, and keep this conversation alive. Not for numbers, not for validation, but because somewhere, someone is still asleep and they might wake up to your words.